You are listening to the Cocoa Blend Podcast. Our podcast aims to shatter the misconception that Black parents cannot co-parent without drama. A podcast for moms of faith who are tired of unnecessary conflicts, seeking a positive shift, and eager to embrace harmonious co-parenting in their blended family. In other words, moms who just want to co-parent without the drama. I am your host, Jamie Newton-Knight, motherhood mastery mentor and co-parenting coach. Join us as we navigate through insightful conversations and empowering stories, redefining the norms and celebrating the strength of united co-parenting in the Black community. So turn on that GPS and let's navigate the blend. Hello there and welcome back. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Jamie Newton-Knight. I am the host of the Cocoa Blend Podcast, and I'm so glad to have you here. So we are continuing on our road trip, and on the road trip, we are going through the blend framework. And blend, as I explained previously, is an acronym. We talked about the B in the blend framework. If you didn't, this and the L in the blend framework. If you did not hear what those were, you need to go back and listen. Go back, listen to the last two episodes, and then come back and listen to this one. So in those episodes, we definitely covered what the B and the L in the blend roadmap was talking about. And we also had guests who talked about their experiences that kind of covered those frameworks. So in this episode, we're still on our road trip. We're still moseying around along the road. And our next stop is the E in the blend roadmap. And the E is to expect change. So we have to acknowledge that change is inevitable, right? We know this in our daily life. We know that this occurs. It's inevitable. Change is inevitable. So we got to keep it real with ourselves. When you are going through the blended process, you have to expect change. Sometimes you're met with resistance and sometimes you're met with acceptance. You kind of have to go along with, at the time, whatever the other person is comfortable with doing as well, because if you're met with acceptance, then this is a perfect opportunity for you guys to sit and talk calmly about boundaries. And if you are met with resistance, then you have to understand that that person is still going through their own process. And for them, stepping away might be their form of setting their boundary, right? So you can be met, like I said, with in two different ways. Acceptance, where they're like, yes, I see that you're trying to co-parent with ease. Let's try this thing out. Or they're met with resistance. You're met with resistance because they're like, I'm not sure. We tried this thing before. And then you would pick fights, or we tried this thing before and it didn't work out well. We couldn't get along when we were in the same space. So you have to understand that just the same way that you have your boundaries, that they have their boundaries. So now you're going to hear a story from another guest about how they navigated change or boundaries. And so you're going to sit back, relax, put on your seatbelt, because we are on a road trip. And you're going to get ready for the third stop on the blend roadmap, which is expect change. God bless. Hello, and welcome to the Cocoa Blend Podcast. I am Jamie Newton-Knight, your host. Welcome back for all of you who have been here before, and welcome for all you newbies. Again, I'm so glad you're here. I have an amazing special guest today. Her and I share a very similar story, so I'm extremely excited for her to share that with you all. I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself. So Miss Shonte, please introduce yourself.
Hi, hello. My name is Shonte. How are you? How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
That's awesome. I'm very well. Thank you for asking. So I'm Shonte. I am a divorced mom, bio mom. I have three kids, all very close in age, 10, 9, and 8. My 10-year-old will be, no, yeah, my 10-year-old will be 11 in April. My 9-year-old will be 10 in March, and my baby will be 9 in September.
Oh,
Yes.
and they grow so fast.
So fast. My mom was showing me a video of my 10-year-old the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's been here for 10 years.
I know, right? Some of them have very old souls, and some of
Yes.
them are, yeah, some of them have very old, but so, it's just so interesting to see how quickly they grow up.
Yes, yes, it is. And speaking of old souls, my oldest, his name is Royce, and that's how he is. He has this old soul. He's just kind of like this carefree, laid back, chill guy. My my middle child, she's a girl. That's my 9-year old. She's just so emotional and like all over the
Girl, we're
place.
gonna have to talk over here because I have a 9-year-old emotional girl as well.
I just be like, what is wrong now?
Hmm. Everything is extra dramatic. I'm like,
Extra.
I'm trying. See, I don't know how to deal with all of this, so I'm trying
Me,
to learn.
me either, because
Mhm.
I just be like, Gabrielle, like, what's wrong?
Yeah,
My
what's happening?
brother. And I'm like, what?
Real, what's happening? Is it the end of the world? For them, I think it feels that way.
It feels that way.
For
It
us,
feels that
we're like, girl, go pick it
way.
up and wipe it off. Like it's
Right. I say, you do know this can't be resolved, right? Like,
right, right. I think that's been the hardest thing with my little one, my 9-year-old, is trying to
mhm.
show her that like it's not the end of the world. Like
Yeah.
it can be resolved. But then tell me about your baby.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. That's like the hardest thing, and trying to help her navigate those feelings and kind of, prioritize those has been really difficult. But, yeah, we're figuring it out as we go. There is the closest and the best handbook you're going to get to parenting is the word. And so, other than that, we just go day by day.
That's right, life. And how what about your little one, your youngest?
My 8-year-old, his name is Jeremiah. That's my baby. That's my baby. That was a surprise baby. That was a surprise baby. I was going to get on birth control, and the doctor said, yeah, no, you're not.
It's oops, too late.
You're not. And so my ex-husband, he's in the service. And so literally he came back from Afghanistan, and I got pregnant with Royce, the 10-year-old. And then he went to training to leave to go to on another deployment. And the night he got back from training, got pregnant with the girl. And Royce was about 3 months old. And then he left for that deployment, and then he came back from that deployment, and I think he was at home for about 3 or 4 months, and got pregnant with the baby.
It was like I came home to give you a surprise. Each time,
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave you with something amazing.
yeah, that's usually how it works with the military. So I say, you know what? No, y'all don't need to send him nowhere else.
Right, right. Please,
And so,
please.
yeah, Jeremiah, that's my baby. He's so sweet. He's so sweet. He's such a cuddle bug, which is something I'm not used to because I'm not like a super overly affectionate person. I'm not a touchy feely person, and he just wants to lay up under me. And so, let me tell you, when oh, child, they have taught me to be patient because I'll be like, all right, mommy is hot now. Oh, give me some space.
Hmm.
But, they're really cool. They're really good kids.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that about your family.
Absolutely.
When I asked you, you just how your what was your family unit like? You described it as complicated, a work in progress.
Yes.
Explain that a little bit.
It is definitely complicated. Okay, so my ex-husband, we were married for 9 years and separated one out of those 9 years, and then we were divorced. Um, Starting kind of from there, we got married very young and very, very quickly. I was 21. He was 20. He had just turned 20. I had just turned 21. And I was living out in Colorado. Fort Carson was where he was stationed at. I had been living in Colorado for years. Colorado is literally like a second home to me. Um, and so I had been living there for years, and I was in college. And me back then, I was kind of like, I was never a person to stay single ever. So I was literally in a whole relationship when I met him. But my then boyfriend went to jail, and then I met him, and we met, I think, in October of 10. We got married in January of 11. So we got married extremely quickly. Um, After that, like I said, he deployed and he went to Afghanistan. But when he deployed, we knew things would be difficult. But when he deployed, it was just like, it was all over the place. And so when he came back and I got pregnant with our son, with Royce, it was just like, I was excited, but I was like, I don't know if I really want to be here. And then from that point, things just kind of started to trickle and get really bad between us. And so what happened was, how him and I ended up ending was that there was infidelity in our marriage. And by the time we divorced in 2019, I think 19 or 20, um, she was girl number 4. She was girl number 4, who was also married. She had a child with her then husband, and she was pregnant with her then husband when she met my husband. And she was also in the service, and she was my husband's soldier. And so at that point, she was girl number 4, right? At that point, I'm just like so over it. Over it. I can't keep doing this. I was being a military spouse, I was a stay-at-home mom and wife. That was something him and I agreed to. It's like, it just doesn't make sense for you to go to work and have to pay for daycare. And he's in the service, so he's making enough money. We're good. We're living on all post housing. Everything is good. Right. But when it came to monogamy and him being committed to our marriage, that's just not something that he was. He had this idea in his mind, and he still does, that he wants to take care of me. He wants me to be good. He doesn't want me to want for anything. But it was like, okay, I want to take care of you, but want to be able to do what I want to do. And so the way that they started kind of played a part to where we are now, because she was very well aware that he was married, and he was very well aware that she was pregnant with her then husband's baby, and that she was also married. And so that kind of, just a little backstory on kind of where we are. His wife, which is number 4, she does not like me at all. She doesn't like me. She ain't never liked me. She'll probably never like me. And I'm okay with that. It's fine. I figure she's dealing with her own conviction. It's how it took me a long time to get there.
I'm sure it did, but it should be taking her some time.
Ooh, child.
To work on things for herself.
Yes.
I'm trying to use grace with what she did.
Yes, exactly. It was very, very difficult. And so it's complicated because he's him. I know him. We've been on each other, like I said, since 2010. We have 3 kids together. We were married for 9 years. I know him. I had a lot of time getting to know who he is, and vice versa. And so, like, not last summer before, in 22, he came out to visit the kids. Originally, the kids were supposed to go to him for the summer, which was the plan. It had been the plan. That's fine. But then, like, literally a week before the kids were supposed to go, he called me and he goes, I'm coming out there and I'm going to be there for 2.5 weeks. And I said, okay. And so he comes and he just pops up at my door one morning, and he's here. And I carry a lot of my stress in my stomach. And when he came to the door, my stomach immediately turned. I was triggered. He was here, but when he comes and he is here, it's like he doesn't even have a wife at home. And so he will fill up my refrigerator. He pays the bills. He pays the rent. He will get my nails done, hair done, everything. He doesn't stay at my house, but he does all this stuff. And then he wants to come and he likes to kind of want to play this family thing in front of the kids, which is really confusing. Really, really confusing. And so that was in 22. 23, I was trying to be the cooperative parent. and I took my kids out to go be with him. The boys would only possibly be there for a year. I was supposed to pick up our daughter Gabrielle in August because she only wanted to stay for the summer, and I took them in June. July, less than a month later, I in TJ Maxx, I get a call, and it's him, and he goes, "I want to talk to you about possibly paying for child support while the kids are here." And he said possibly paying child support and me getting a court order. And then he goes, "And also I want to talk to you about Gabrielle staying for a year." I said, "Gabrielle doesn't want to stay for a year." He goes, "Yes, she does. She wants to be with her brothers." I said, "None of them want to be there." Now at this point, we've had problems. My kids are literally calling me less than a week of being there with issues. Part of the issues is that they were scared to talk to their dad because he had been threatening them to spank them if they didn't talk to him. And so him and his wife had been grilling the kids. And so less than a week of being there were already these issues that was arising. And all three of my kids were at the point where they're like, "I don't want to be there." And so when he did that, it threw a curveball at me. I've been trying to keep us out of court. I did not want to go that route because I don't need nobody else to tell us what we need to do with our kids. That's something that you and I can discuss. But unfortunately, I get that that's his wife. And, he goes and he talks to her. But she's now have a part of her influence and opinion has him and I in this situation that he don't want to be in and I don't want to be in. So he never served me, but I made sure I beat him to it, and he was served in November. And so it's complicated because it's so many different dynamics. And he'll talk to me and he'll literally be by himself and he'll want to have a full conversation with me. He'll be like, "LaShonte, I want your attention. I need your attention. When I want to talk to you, I want to talk to you." And I'm calling to talk to my kids, or the kids are calling to talk to me. But then when he's in front of his wife, it's a whole different ball game, which, you expect that much. I expect that much. I know. Um, and so it's very, very complicated. It's really ups and downs. And unfortunately, because he's allowing her to play so much of an influence with what should be between me and him, it's causing even more problems.
Right.
Yes.
I totally understand that. I get that. And the funny thing is that I've had bonus moms on the calls,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a very different opinion of what their role should be
Yeah.
and like how involved they should be. And there's a part of me that's like, I understand with some people it being where she's heavily involved, right?
Yeah.
I get it in some cases, but in other cases where it starts off in a really bad way, like
Mm-hmm.
your situation where you literally were the whole other woman.
The whole other woman. He was your whole other dude. Like,
Right. And now you want to it like you might want to work with me first.
you
Like
might want to
we
work.
yeah,
Right.
we need to grow some type of a rapport so that things don't really go crazy.
Right.
But
Right.
then of course with dad with the boundaries, he's like, "Well, I'm gonna come see the kids and I'm gonna ball all out of control on
Mm-hmm.
mom."
Mm-hmm.
So they see that and they think, "Hey, cool." Right? And then when they're at the other house, it's like, "Wait, so mom
Wait.
can't call? Wait, so we do have to stay? So mom, wait." That's very confusing for children.
Very confusing. I kid you not. I kid you not. At the beginning of the year, beginning of last year, he called me and he goes, "I want to talk to you about being a blended family." And I'm still, having a hard time with this. This is still not sitting right with me. Of course, me and my kids' life changed dramatically after going from North Carolina to coming to Michigan, and with we're living this military lifestyle, which is a whole lifestyle. It really is. And it was very difficult for me to get out of because of so many things that I have become accustomed to and used to. Um, and so it's very different. Our life changed in a big way. And so he called me and he goes, "I want to talk to you about being a blended family." I said, "Okay, yeah, sure." Like, I get that I got to do it. I don't like it, but okay, I'll do it. And so he's talking to me. He's like, I want you to go on vacations with us. I want us to go to Disney World and I want you to be there with me. And I was like, I understand where you are, but I'm not there. And I need for you to understand that. Now, I'm okay with if you want to take the kids to Disney World, have at it. I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with that. But I don't want to be as involved with what you're doing with them, especially when your wife is there. And I get that she's your wife. I respect that. But her and I don't have that relationship. I don't want to go somewhere or be there and we're supposed to be having fun and all those different things like that. But I can't because we're uncomfortable. Because no matter how you want to try to twist and turn it, I feel like an apology is owed from both of you because there was definitely boundaries that was crossed and it was very disrespectful, not only to me and your wife, but even her to her husband. And you were disrespectful to her husband and what they have, and she was disrespectful. I said, and so there's a conversation that needs to be had, and you can't try to cover it up with money or I want to do this for you or can you do. And so I said, you know what, let me think about this. I really need to pray on this. This is not something that I can just give you an answer on. And I left it at that. And then in July, like I said, when they called me with the conversation, we talked part of why the time I was in TJ Maxx. And then I told him I would call them back because I was out. So I called them later on. And he goes, I talked to Gabrielle. I called them later on. I called them twice. And his wife wasn't there. So he was really loose and really comfortable.
I was going to say, so you got a different person, not the person who told you I'm about to put you on child support, but someone else.
Not someone totally different. And so no, they ended up calling me back the third time. So the third time we were on the phone, our daughter is there. And he goes, I talked to Gabrielle and she said she does want to be here because she doesn't want to leave her brothers. She's really confused because she does, when she's here, she misses you. And when she's there, they miss me. And I said, okay, I get that. I understand. I said, well, let me talk to Gabrielle and just kind of see where she's at. So I purposely turned on the video. I want to see my child's face. I say, hey, Gabrielle, how you doing? We're talking. I want to loosen her up. I don't want her to feel stressed out or that,
she has to pick a side.
That she has to pick and choose because I've been really big with my kids on that. I'm not going to force you to be here if you don't want to be here. I don't want you to feel like you're being forced to be there. So I get on the phone. I say, hey, Gabrielle, how are you feeling? She goes, Mommy, I miss you and I love you. And she's like, and I want to be here with my brothers. And then I was like, okay. I said, I understand that, honey. I said, are you sure? She goes, yeah. And so she's like, but I want to come home too. She's like, I just want us to be together. I don't want to leave my brothers, but I want to be at home. I only want to be here for the summer. And so my kids are very, very expressive. I've always taught them to be expressive. Don't be disrespectful, but definitely say how you feel. I said, because I can't read your mind. And so in order for me to know, you have to express it to me. And so Gabrielle continues to go. She goes, Mommy, this wasn't the plan. We were supposed to come back. And I said, I know. I said, but sometimes plans change and things happen that we're just not expecting or ready for. And so we're on camera. He takes the phone from our daughter and he goes, Gabrielle, maybe in the near future when everything is better, you, me, Mommy, your brothers, Miss Taya, who is his wife, maybe we can all live together in the same house. To our 9-year-old. And his wife was sitting right there. And so I'm stuck after that because what did you just say?
Right. And that's a kid's dream. They're like, oh, Mom and Dad in the same house. I don't have to pick.
Same house. Yeah.
That's a dream for them. She probably was like, oh, okay.
Gabrielle is excited. She said, oh, okay, Daddy, that would be nice. And then I'm sitting here. You just said that to our 9-year-old in front of your wife, which further lets me know for you to feel so comfortable with saying that, this is a conversation that's been had. And so I'm sitting here and I prayed and I talked to God and God had already confirmed it for me. But that just really put the icing on the cake because he had been asking me to move back to North Carolina before he was stationed out in Georgia. He wanted to get me a house. And so I was like, oh, okay. And so that just kind of confirmed it for me. But it's kind of one of those, I want my cake and kind of eat it too. And I just, it's a lot of different dynamics with this whole thing. But one of the most interesting things I will say with this is that him and his wife, making decisions as it concerns the kids with them being there, I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
But they make decisions on what I should do with my life or where I should go or what I should be a part of or involved in or and all these different things. And I was like, you can't do that. You and
Right.
I are no longer married.
Right.
I am your ex-wife. That is your current wife. Focus over there. Y'all too busy worrying about me and wanting me to be over in y'all space. And I don't want that. I have absolutely no interest in being anybody's sister wife. None.
We're
None. I don't want to do
just
that.
gonna grow some sister wives over
I'm just
here.
gonna grow some sister wives. It sounds like if you still, if I mean, if that's what you wanted, then you would have made a better choice and decision. Because mind you, I did leave him. I did not divorce him. He served me with divorce papers, and that was after he served me less than a month of being back in Michigan. Literally, probably like 2 weeks. He had me served at my grandmother's house with child support papers and custody papers. Yes, and he was about to go to Korea.
I was gonna say, you're in the military.
So
What are you getting custody of?
what? And mind you, the whole time we were married, I've been a stay-at-home mother and wife, and he knows this.
Tune in next week for part 2. Thank you for listening to the Cocoa Blend podcast. See you next time.